Right, mate.
All right, mate. Good to be here with you.
Yes, good to be here. So, creating a wee video here today. Wanted to chat about the journey we've been on over the last couple of years with marketing and how we've been able to scale a company to multiple seven figures, sell it, and then start the same in property now. And I think lots of the people watching this will want to hear a little bit about our journey, kind of what we've been on, and just hear it real. Let's just have a real chat here.
100%. So let's wind back the clock. How did we meet?
How did we meet? So I was sitting in Starbucks actually. I don't know if you remember. We were sitting in Starbucks and I was on Shopify. For those who don't know what Shopify is, it's like a little e-commerce platform where basically you can upload products. And I had an e-commerce website at the time. Didn't end up doing anything with it. But Luke was walking past and you'd seen that I was on Shopify. Yeah. And he came out and oh, is that Shopify, mate? And I was like, oh no, it's one of these donkey drop shippers or something like that. Like, who is this guy? Yeah. But we ended up like just sitting down and you were like running a really successful e-com site at the time, right?
Yeah, selling toothbrushes of all kinds.
Toothbrushes, yeah.
Doing 50k a month in my spare time.
50k a month, yeah. So it's mad. So I mean, I had this marketing agency, this SEO agency at the time, and you'd been doing this toothbrush thing, and we just kind of kicked it off. Like, we're just young guys. We were living next to each other, and we were kind of going to Starbucks like every so often. We'd bump into each other, and we just loved like the conversations with marketing. I think we were just friends for like a couple of months, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things in Glasgow, innit? Like, there's not that many people that are into like online marketing, digital marketing. So you meet someone who's doing things, you like to connect and
we connected because our mindset was very high level. We were kind of successful young guys, and But yeah, so we went down that journey, and I think at the time, I'd been struggling a little bit with my own marketing, specifically for my agency at the time. I'd just taken over this agency and I didn't really know how to scale it, so that was where I started kind of having a chat with you. And you'd been doing what, specifically paid ads, so Facebook ads?
All Facebook ads, just spending money to get customers, not really doing a lot of whole branding kind of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you were looking for help with your lead generation, you were kind of struggling with that.
Exactly, yeah, and like I understood at the time that if you could spend a couple of pounds in marketing and get a couple more pounds back off every customer, it's a very scalable thing. And all of the marketers who were able to do paid ads well always made a lot of money. So I always understood the value in it, but me and you, it was like I hadn't actually executed it profitably. I'd never been able to get Facebook ads to work. I'd tried some different things. I'd certainly tried it in this marketing agency. I really didn't know kind of what to do. So that was where we kind of sparked a conversation. And around this time, this agency was kind of at a low level. It was struggling. Like we're making money, but it wasn't like serious money at this point. It wasn't a big agency. And that was where we kind of started talking. It was like, well, maybe you could have came in and like helped me like as a kind of consultant or whatever, like to actually come in and like bring your paid ads knowledge to this agency to help grow it through paid advertising.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing a lot of stuff in like e-commerce and, as I mentioned, selling like beauty products and things that were like really competitive in a really competitive space where big brands are spending millions a month. And obviously with your lead generation, you had clients coming in the door, but you wanted to get a lot more of them at scale.
Right.
And you were looking at all your competitors. We had to look at what they were doing with their marketing. And it all seemed like pretty basic. It seemed like there was opportunity in the market to come in there and do some good things. So we started looking at it together.
For sure. And like for me, the reason why I realised there was a huge opportunity, and it's even the same with like property now, was because every single client was worth so much money. Like, so the way I looked at it when I was running paid ads, it's like, well, each client was spending like at least a couple grand a month. Like some people were spending 10, 20,000 pounds per month. Like some of the big clients spend some serious money. So I was thinking like, how much would I really need to spend? Like I can actually spend a fortune on paid advertising to target a lot of people to just get one customer, and it would be really valuable. So that was why I knew at a high level the concept of doing it was good. And it's the same with property now. Like each client that we work with now, it's like they're at least worth a couple of thousand. So I know like paid advertising is so easy to get working at a high level because each individual customer you can make so much from.
Well, like you're saying, if someone is going to give you 20,000 when the deal closes,
right,
and you can spend 10,000 to acquire them.
Right.
Then you can just keep doing that over and over.
Exactly, and that was the bit I understood. I would spend probably 20,000, 19,000, like whatever's profitable is what you're going to spend, and that's the mindset that I certainly had day one. And I find it funny when I meet like even some people now, marketers or property people that come in and they spend a couple £100 in marketing and expect results when one deal they could be sourcing it on, they could be an estate agent, is worth thousands of pounds, you know, or potentially getting 20-30% discounts on properties that they're trading on or whatever, and like it's tens of thousands of pounds worth of a deal that they're wanting to get for 400 quid. You know, this doesn't make sense. So,
and why do you think that is? Why do you think people come in and expect and get a bit nervous and uncertain after spending some money and not seeing some results?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing there is people think that marketing's an expense. And I think when you come from a world where certainly we came as marketers, right? That's where we started. You know, I was doing SEO was that business, but I understood marketers. All my friends were marketers. I knew people like you that were marketers. So our mindset on marketing is very different. It's not an expense; it's an investment for a return. Like marketing's meant to be a profitable act, and a lot of people the reason why they won't spend is because they don't have the confidence to realise that you can spend £1 and make £2, and that you can build up an engine that can actually do that. And I think if people get that confidence, they'll spend. I mean, who wouldn't spend £1 million to make £2 million? Like anyone would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the thing is, people don't have the confidence to even have the effort to go in to spend the $1 million to try and get the £2, and that's what stops people from spending. And it never works because they never spend enough to even try. You know. Yeah.
So they just feel like they're just spending money. And they're just putting it down this hole. They're not getting anything back. It's not working. They don't know if it's going to work. How much it's going to cost to get things working.
Exactly.
All these questions and confusion
100%
about it all.
And I think that early days, this is why we went down a very good path. And in the early days, I think we get past that mindset quite quickly. Like we didn't have to. I certainly wasn't looking at this business as like, or the investment into paid advertisement as a difficult, like treacherous route. I just saw it as a natural progression. And I knew that by working with someone like you, who was 10 steps ahead of me at that point in paid advertising, was going to be like the right way to go. Because to go and learn it yourself, it's an absolute minefield. There's a million different rabbit holes you can get caught between, and this is the exact reason why people don't spend. It's because it's very easy to get lost in the world of online advertising. It's
an expensive lesson to learn.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Exactly. I mean, I'd lost money. I mean, even prior to working with you, I mean, I probably spent overall in my lifetime at least 10-20 grand in ads. That was worth. It came to absolutely nothing. So I'd been through the painful process of not getting it to work, or not even knowing what was involved to get it to work. And that's the bit that people need to kind of figure out and learn.
I mean, I remember the first time I ran ads, started spending money, quickly realised I had no idea what I was doing, and then all of a sudden the programs, the coaching, all of that kind of stuff before seemed like a good investment, because it made sense that was going to be the thing that helped later. I
mean, absolutely. I mean, if you even think about some of the expensive programs, you know, and the thousands of pounds, right? If you're spending £10,000 in advertising, like I can remember, and we'll talk about it in this video, like some of the fundamental changes that we ended up making, which made the ads 10 times more effective. So if you would have spent £10,000 and you were making that 10 times more effective, you could have done the same amount of results for £1,000. So it's very, very easy to justify coaching and learning about this topic, because it will, if you don't know it and you're not learning it from the right people, you will burn money. And that's the problem that most people go down the route of, is trying to figure it out themselves when there's all the rabbit holes, and we'll talk about some of them here. You know. So
there we were, and just started working together. We just launched the first ads. How did that go?
Didn't work. It was a bit. I mean, it wasn't a disaster, but we certainly didn't make money. So at the time, we took a very direct approach. So for those that don't know what the business was, basically what we had was an SEO company that sold a specific service called link building. It's a very niche product, very niche, confusing product, which we'll not get into here. But we basically just had lots of web pages that sold this product, and the people who are buying this product just now were very experienced people in the know, SEO people that understood what they were buying and knew where to go to get it, and the pages worked for those people. But when we ran paid ads to those web pages on our website, we didn't even know at the time. We were like, we sell links, we're just going to run some ads, sell more links. Like, let's run an offer, let's put 20% off. Like the most basic levels of marketing, like put the offer out there, was what we started with. And we just ended up kind of getting bad comments. We just, we didn't really get any sales. Lots of people were seeing it, lots of people were clicking on the website, but there just wasn't really, like, it wasn't working. I think we got to a point where we spent probably £10,000 on marketing over the space of a couple of months. So some pretty decent sized budgets we put in behind it. Again, willing to justify that because I knew what one customer was worth to us, you know. And we didn't even know how to track things properly. We didn't. There was so much missing at that point. And I think we were both went in with like ultra levels of confidence, but we very quickly realised like how much of a rabbit hole this was going to be, like how difficult of a funnel we were doing here, you know.
Yeah, we had no idea like what we were getting into.
Yeah,
we were like a car mechanic trying to sell parts for the cars, for different kind of breakdowns and things like that, when you should just be selling the complete package for people. We were so confused about what we were trying to do.
Exactly. And that, I mean, that was eventually what we did to get it working. We'll talk about that. Like, but yeah, we were selling a very complicated product, and I think even now, like, it was actually one of the best things us working in this business was because we worked probably in one of the hardest possible funnels and businesses that you could do. Like, it was such a confusing product and business. Like, you can't directly sell it because of how confusing it is to even you were running the marketing for this funnel, and it probably took you 6 months to even understand what it was that you were trying to sell. Like,
it did. It did.
Like, it was super confusing.
So confusing.
So us trying to convey the messaging to sell it through advertising was difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't work, and we went down a kind of rabbit hole of trying to understand why that was. And I think most people, when they get started in paid ads, get started in a very similar way. They run stuff, they try to sell the thing that they think they should sell straight away. Look, what was it about that, do you feel, as well? Like, why didn't that work for us?
We didn't have an offer.
Yeah.
We didn't have a funnel. We didn't have any positioning. There's no copywriting and all these different components that we know needs to go into successful paid advertising now. We didn't have any understanding of what that was because we hadn't done it before.
Right.
And we had to spend money to realise what different parts of things needed to be optimised and what to do next.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there was so much missing there, and that was, I guess, the best way of putting it is that we didn't even have the fundamentals right.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we were missing out on the basics. We were selling something successfully to a group of people, right? And that group of people that were buying it was a very, very small audience of people, like very niche market. And we thought that there would just be more of them out there. We could just chuck up some Facebook ads and chuck up some landing pages where people didn't understand who we were, and automatically it would just work. You know? And that didn't. So what was the kind of next thing that we did after that?
So we really just looked at everything that we were doing and just started evaluating, you know, what things other successful businesses were doing that we were missing out on. How could we learn, and went and invested in different forms of coaching. You invested in the kind of funnel stuff, and I was investing in a lot of copywriting and kind of getting all the messaging down.
And I think at this point we'd spent tens of thousands of pounds probably on. I mean, for us it was like we were making money, like it was very justified at the time, but I think the level of expertise that we were luckily able to go and achieve, instead of just throwing more into marketing, we took the right step to actually go and learn why things weren't working and try to figure that out. Because there was a lot of key missing parts to the equation, which we can talk about just now for people they'll be very interested for certainly the property business. Like, what were those missing bits? Like specifically, let's dive into them.
So the big problem that we had was you were able to get clients offline.
Yeah.
Coming through your marketing, they were all very informed on what your business done.
Yeah.
They knew what the product was, they knew what they wanted.
Yeah.
And we were trying to do that at scale to people who didn't know anything about your business. We had to educate them on why you were the right business, what the product done for them. And that's probably one of the big things that we missed, was really talking about what the product does for you instead of what it kind of is. What it is. It's a very complicated thing, but it achieves a very specific result, which is what the customers wanted, which is what we started getting into with all the marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'd grown this business really from going to networking events, being able to speak to people who were very in tune with SEO and very in tune with what my product was. So to them, they could purchase the product like a catalogue. Like they could just go on. It's like almost like as you're saying, a mechanic. They know the bits to order. They know the specific difficult parts to order. But they got it because they would experience people. What we did is we ran Facebook ads selling to SEOs, and we thought that all SEOs were just the same.
Yeah.
They weren't. There's within the SEO audience, the same with the house selling market. Like there's thousands of different micro audiences and niches and groups of people within that market, and we didn't get that at the time. We just thought it was, we're just selling to SEOs, right? And what we had to do was we went down like a 6-month-long process of just figuring out who the hell the right person was to sell to. Like just working that out. And this is what a lot of marketers would call like creating an avatar, creating an understanding for who your customer is, you know? And we just obsessed, like it was next level obsession. We used to go on like a walk for like, I remember we were going for a walk for like 4 hours, just talking about these customers, like just talking about some of the emails that they'd sent in, just talking about the way people were interacting with the ads, the type of ads people were responding to, like absolute nerd level of obsession on on this, you know. And the first rendition of that was creating a funnel, like, because before we'd obviously just been sending, what most people do when they start marketing is they have a website that some silly web designer's made, seems to have some stuff on it about their business. There's usually no good offer on there, right? It's not positioned the right way, so people normally just send traffic to that, which is what we did, just sent traffic to that, and it doesn't do a good job at selling. So we had to create this funnel, right? We understood that we had to create a funnel which was a web page specifically designed for converting customers into what we wanted. And because we initially realised that we couldn't sell the product like a catalogue, like to the mechanic, we had to speak to people to try and sell it to them. Like, and we did a sales call funnel, right? Which was basically just people would come in to this web page, they would fill out their email, and then we would try and book a call with them. Right? That was the basic funnel. And did that work?
So I think the first time we did it, it did not work at all. But we recorded all the calls, didn't we? So we got something out of it.
Right. So I mean, it was the worst thing. It was one of the worst funnels, but it was like the best thing we did. Because we ran the funnel and we booked tons of calls, and what we got from it, like we'd been able to, because we'd done the avatar, we understood who we were targeting. We're targeting this group of SEOs that were experienced, that needed links, right? We were able to talk with those people, and we booked this call funnel, and we had conversations with all these SEO agencies, these people that were the perfect customers to try and sell them this product. But what ended up happening is we're on the call, we couldn't sell them anything, and we were like, why is this not still like so much confusion? It seems so simple now why this didn't work, right? But back then we were like, how are we booking? How are we speaking to? Remember, probably one of the questions you asked, how we spoke to 60 people and sold $2,000 of like it makes no sense. Like, what is going on? Where's the money? Like, where are these people turning up? Like, what's going on? So we're sitting looking at these calls, like trying to work it out. And we booked an Airbnb, didn't we, for like 2 or 3 days in the city centre of Glasgow. We're like, right, we just need to get away for a couple of days and just like try and understand what's going on with these calls. Right. And what we did is we took post-it notes of the pain points of every single person that we had spoke to on the sales calls, and we put them all on the wall just to like try and visualize people's problems. And And this was like the game-changing moment, wasn't it?
It was like nerd level 100, but it was like the best thing that we did.
The best thing
like,
we did.
If you came in this Airbnb, there was just rows and rows and rows of post-it notes, and it just explained why no one was buying. Because what happened was everyone was just so confused.
Right.
Like all of the questions that people were asking on the phone, they were so confused about what they had to buy.
Right.
So before we were running ads trying to sell these products.
Right.
And then no one had any idea what to buy. That was a big problem the market had.
Yes.
So what we did was we actually had to create a product that explained to people, buy this product, and then we'll tell you what your strategy should look like. Like this was so complicated. It's very hard to like. You don't get into it like the weeds of it with anyone because it's so complicated.
People jump in these calls, and the premise was that they would ask the same three questions. It's like, what links do I buy? What type of links do I buy? And where do I send them? That was like the three. Out of this like massive list of post notes, we took the three main premises of every question. Just asked it in a different way, right? That was the main three similarities in the questions. And this is like a massive tip for anyone that's like trying to make their business better, is like listen to your customer sales calls and use that as a tool to make the offer better, because the offer we were selling was we were trying to sell people links. What we realised is we couldn't sell people links yet. If we were targeting this broad market, the majority of the market were ill-informed about what links to buy. What people wanted was to rank in Google. That's why anyone would buy links. You know, SEO is about getting to the top of Google. Like they wanted that, but they knew the links was the way to do it, but they didn't know how to use the links.
They didn't know how to do it.
And we sold the product, but people didn't know how to buy it. So, like, literally sat there. I remember sitting there for like 2-3 days, and I geeked out and created this thing called the link report.
Yeah.
Right? Which was like, I look at it and I'm like, how did I even come up with that? Like, it was madness. Like, I basically created this custom algorithmic product, which based on the data of people's competitors would tell them exactly how many links. And we used this as a tool to effectively quote people. Like,
that's what it was. They were buying a quote.
It was a quote. They were buying a quote, basically.
And that's what people wanted to buy.
But they wanted that because people didn't know what they needed. So it was even a massive value add for agencies, for other people that didn't know how much they needed. They would get this product just to see what they needed, and then they could decide how much they should buy just now versus later. And it was just a huge, the most valuable thing we could have offered. Like that was what we did. We just understood we had to, from understanding, paying for all these courses, we just understood we had to give people the thing they wanted, the most valuable thing they wanted. This is like the thing that's changed everything we've done since then. Is like, what is it these people needed help with? And that was what they needed help with. And we created this product which answered it for everyone, right? And then we started selling that, and oh my god, it just
blew up.
It just blew up
in a couple of months.
Exactly. So but by this time, we were like 30,000-40,000 pounds probably in a hole. And a year worth of learning. Like, I look back and it's one of the best years of business that I've ever had. Like, just the amount of stuff we learned, the amount of journeys that took us on, and the amount of understanding that's given us now to be experienced high-level marketers. Like, it's huge, right?
Yeah, but that was a year of just full struggling. Not making any money, just spending money on ads, trying to work out why it wasn't working.
Exactly.
Go and spend more money, and just back and forward.